looks like the Chicago Bulls have a front runner for their head coach position. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, I'm NBA here to talk about the Chicago Bulls. So if you're a Bulls fan, what are you doing? If you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so. I am going to bring out the latest and greatest and best Bulls content around. So go ahead and subscribe and also turn on the post notifications and follow me on my social media accounts, links down below as always. Okay, so you see the title, right? The Bulls have a new front runner for their head coaching position, a dark horse candidate, if you will, because we had not, and I certainly had not heard about him being a candidate for the Bulls position until now, and that is Ime Udoka, okay? The assistant coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. That is, he is the current assistant coach for that team. So let's talk about this rumor. Let's talk about, if it is true, and if it does happen, how would I feel about it? So let's get into it. So this rumor is being reported by some fairly credible sources. We've got the Sun Times reporting this, okay, that Ime Udoka is reportedly the front runner for the Chicago Bulls head coaching position. And also they mentioned that Adrian Griffin is right there on the doorstep. He's right behind. And this is also being reported by The Athletic, saying that Ime Udoka is a guy that the Bulls could look to bring in. First and foremost, let me just say this is fantastic news, not because of Ime Udoka, but because this just confirms the obvious that Jim Boylen is getting let go. Okay, again, it's pretty much a formality at this point, okay, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? So it will happen. Be patient, Bulls fans. It's going to happen. The Bulls season's over, right? The NBA season restart is happening in Orlando. The Bulls didn't make the cut of the 22 teams, so their season's over. So it should happen fairly quickly. And I did post a video about, the offseason and what the Bulls could be expected to do. And you guys can go check it out. But point being is, let's just celebrate and rejoice the fact that this also is confirming that Jim Boylen will no longer be the head coach for the Chicago Bulls. So that is a win in itself, okay? So first and foremost, getting that out of the way. Number two, let's talk about Ime Udoka and why he is being linked as a front-runner candidate for the Chicago Bulls job. Okay, so he is a former NBA player. I actually remember watching him. He was a fairly good role player for the Spurs. And so after his playing career, he became an assistant under Greg Popovich. And anytime somebody is from the Greg Popovich tree, you'll like that, obviously, because he's one of the greatest coaches in NBA history. And so he was the assistant coach for the Spurs for about 7 years, okay? So he paid his dues and was there for quite some time, and just recently went over and joined Brett Brown's coaching staff in Philly, okay? And so he is the assistant coach with the Sixers, and now with the hiring of our new general manager, Mark Eversley, who is coming from the Sixers organization, now you see the tie in, right? The relationship, because Mark Eversley obviously knows Ime Udoka from the Sixers, okay? So that is why this linkage is happening, or the biggest reason why it's happening. But the other thing, too, is Ime Udoka is a guy who's actually been getting kind of noticed in NBA circles. He actually interviewed for the Cavs head coaching position before they gave it to John Beilein last year, and obviously that didn't work out because John Beilein is no longer the head coach there. But Ime Udoka's name has been coming around in NBA circles as a guy that is ready for an NBA head coaching position. Now, in terms of like his philosophies and the X's and O's, I tried to, find out as much information as I could on Ime Udoka. There's not that much out there. Obviously, you love the fact that he's under the Greg Popovich tree. And again, the Sixers, they're a solid organization as well. And these are both successful teams at the current time. So you like that. And he is a name that has been catching a lot of steam. So to me, those things all play into part here. Here's where I'm kind of lost with this, okay? The Chicago Bulls are a team that is going to be rebuilding, okay? Again, I know Bulls fans don't want to hear this, but we're kind of going to have to rebuild once again. And this could be a quasi-rebuild. This could be like a retooling, if you will, because we've got a lot of our core players. It's not like we have to draft a bunch more, right? We've got Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, Kobe White, Wendell Carter Jr. But there is going to be somewhat of a rebuild, retool needed here. And so if you're bringing in a coach that I, thought about that is experienced, obviously that would benefit, right, to a team. But an experienced head coach would probably be only necessary if you're talking about, a team that's ready to compete. And the Bulls aren't ready at this time. Could they be a potential playoff team? Sure. So when it comes to Udoka, the downside obviously is he's got no head coaching experience in the NBA, and so he's going to be a brand new guy. Now, I do like that because, again, sometimes retreading the old coaches, not a huge fan of that as well. But I don't want to be a hypocrite. Jim Boylen was an assistant coach and became a first-time head coach with the Chicago Bulls. So I don't want to say, oh, I'm going to love the fact that we're bringing in a new assistant coach and then bash on Jim Boylen because he was a new assistant coach. Now, again, Jim Boylen, to me, he's just incompetent, period. And again, I've said this a million times, but once he's fired, I don't think he's going to get another head coaching job. The point being is, I don't want to be a hypocrite. So I'm not going to use the fact that he has never had head coaching experience. But the only difference here is with Ime Udoka is the fact that he is a guy who has been kind of respected and his name is circulating in NBA circles. We never heard that about Jim Boylen. I don't remember any other team looking to hire Jim Boylen. I know there's teams interested in hiring Ime Udoka. So I do think he would be a solid hire. Now, the other guy they mentioned is Adrian Griffin, who I would love. He's the assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors. He played for the Bulls. He was an assistant coach with the Bulls. I'd love him as well. I think he would be a great hire. Now, remember, another guy that we hired that was an assistant coach, a longtime assistant coach, Tom Thibodeau, and that worked out fantastic for us. The ending wasn't great, but point is, for the most part, it was a great signing. And so I do believe getting the right assistant coach in here would be, a home run, and maybe that is what the new regime is looking to do. So I got no issues with Ime Udoka if he ends up becoming the new head coach of the Chicago Bulls. I've told you guys some of my favorite candidates. Adrian Griffin's actually one of them, so I'm glad he is in the running here. The other guys that I've talked about, Kenny Atkinson, Dave Yeager, Mark Jackson, but these are all guys with previous head coaching experience. So it kind of looks like the Bulls are leaning towards getting a guy as a first-time head coach over maybe an experienced coach, but it's fine because these are guys that are respected. And that's the one thing about Jim Boylen is nobody respected him, okay? And so I would have no issues with Ime Udoka. Again, is leaning towards guys like Kenny Atkinson, Dave Yeager, and even Adrian Griffin, but I would have no issues with Ime Udoka. I think this would be a solid hire. So there you have it, folks. My thoughts on the Bulls potentially hiring Ime Udoka, who is looking like the front runner right now. Let me know what you guys think about him as a potential hire as the next head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.